Just because it's cheap doesn't mean I want it. If I'm sweating, it's because I'm sitting under two huge bright lights and it is affecting my everything. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa. If you're new here, welcome. Please subscribe. I shoot fashion, lifestyle, review, and travel content. And so I'm really glad that you tuned in today. It's been so long since I have sat down and done a video like this, but I'm actually really excited about this video because I've seen a bunch of it going around and I was like, oh, this is a video that I need to do because there's lots of things that I'm not buying anymore. So I want to start out by saying I hope you guys are all staying safe and sound at home. I have been staying home. I think this is like my 6th, 7th, or 8th week at home. And as I enter into this year, actually, I made a promise to myself that I was going to stop buying so much stuff. Like, I am a stuff person. I'm very far from a minimalist, but I am trying to, just stop accumulating so much stuff and also save money because I don't care about this economic depression. 2020 is still going to be my money year. So without further ado, I'm going to go right into the things that I am no longer buying anymore. Number 1, crop tops. I am done buying crop tops. Like, I feel like this crop top wave started when I was in college. So what is that, like? From like 2011 through 2015, I was like crop top queen. I was buying all sorts of crop tops. Everyone was selling them. They were all the rave. Like, I have a whole drawer full of crop tops in my room right now that I haven't touched in probably a year. And that's just because, honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, crop tops don't suit my body type. I'm 5'10" and a half, and so I'm quite tall. And I don't think the average crop top is made for someone my height. Not to mention, I have rather long legs and a medium-sized torso for someone as tall as I am. And so they always kind of like cut me off at like the wrong angle. And I'm someone who a lot of my fat is in my midsection, specifically my waist. So while I may not have a muffin top or love handles, I will have a muffin waist. And that's gross. And that's what a lot of crop tops end up looking like when I pair them with, high-waisted pants, because that's kind of the look. No one's really wearing low-rise jeans anymore. About a good solid year and a half, I haven't purchased a single crop top. I do love the style, but it's just not meant for my body. Like, it doesn't look right on me, unfortunately. And I have more than enough to last me through the end of this trend. And so that's one thing I don't buy anymore. And to add more to that, it's basically just saying buy clothes that actually work for your body. There are tons of clothes that I love and I would love to just like wear, and then I buy them and then I wear them and I'm like, I look ridiculous. I'm so sad and I don't feel confident in what I'm wearing. And you never want that to be the case. You want to always be confident in what you're wearing. If you think that what you're wearing doesn't look good on you, then stop wearing it. And so I stopped wearing it. So if you see me buy a crop top, just pat me on the wrist and be like, no girl, you said no more crop tops. I've been doing pretty good on that. Number 2, subscription boxes. Yes, so I think one of my last videos was a battle of the subscription boxes because I used to buy a whole ton. Stop texting me, I'm trying to film a video. I used to buy a whole ton of subscription boxes. Okay, seriously, stop texting me. Everyone tries to text me when I'm trying to do something productive with my life. Okay, I used to buy a whole ton of subscription boxes. I think actually was on the news one time reviewing a subscription box. That's really wild.
Then I went on the website, Birchbox, and I saw all the things that they had, their samples. I was like, oh, this seems pretty cool. I can try one out, and if I don't like it, then I can just cancel my subscription. So that's how I got hooked.
Yeah, so I had a subscription box. The first one I ever got subscribed to was Birchbox, and that was beauty stuff. And then the second one that I subscribed to out of peer pressure was the FabFitFun box, because my friend had one and she would always talk about what came in her box, and I was like, oh, that looks cool, I want to have one too. And then the last box I subscribed to, and that was purely for like comparison reasons, was COSBox. And so if you're someone who's trying to get started in like fashion and beauty and stuff like that, I think these boxes are a great idea. If you're really into that kind of stuff, if you really use products like that, by all means go for it. But if you're someone who's really trying to get rid of clutter, just stop. Like, it's no point. Like, The selling point is that, you know, you get $200, $300 worth of items for only $50 every other month. But realistically, you don't use all those items. Like, I was finding that, yeah, I was spending significantly less than if I bought all those products individually, but the truth of the matter is I would never buy any of those products individually. Maybe there would be like 1 or 2 things in the box that I would get. And so I know with like my FabFitFun box, there are a couple of things that I still use in my my daily routine or my weekly routine, but for the vast majority of them, I just don't use them, and they're just sitting in my shelf in my bathroom in my bedroom because they're just collecting dust. Like, and oftentimes, like, they're not even, especially when it comes to makeup, they're not even made for a Black woman. They're just generic products. So yeah, I just don't really subscribe to those anymore. But you know, if you are looking for a subscription box to get into, I have a video that compares FabFitFun, which is probably the most famous one, and COSBox, which is one that has a mission attached to it. So by all means, look at those videos and decide if you need any of those things. I personally not doing them anymore. The third thing that I don't subscribe to anymore is drugstore makeup. Call me bougie all you want, but I just don't do drugstore makeup anymore. And you know, there are probably gonna be a ton of people that are like, oh my God, I swear by drugstore makeup. Why would I pay $500 to buy this thing when I can get it for $2.02 at CVS? I wear drugstore makeup. Yes, girl, I know. I can tell. I don't wear drugstore makeup, again, for the fact that, number one, it's like, I don't care how inexpensive or how cheap a thing is. If it doesn't work, I don't need it in my life. And my experience with drugstore makeup, especially drugstore foundation, it doesn't work for my skin tone. So I don't wear drugstore makeup for a number of reasons. Number one, finding your shade. It's so hard to find your correct shade if you're a woman of color, especially a darker skinned Black woman like myself. And then when you do, it's either gray toned, or it starts to separate, or it's too much, it's too cakey, it's too powdery. I've honestly tried and tried and tried when I was younger to find a drugstore makeup that I actually liked, and I just didn't find any. Even the Maybelline Fit Me, which I really liked because of, you know, representation and all that jazz, it still didn't work very well for me. It was too greasy. And I do have normal skin, but whenever I put on makeup, it tends to go on the oily side. And so I've been wearing this foundation right now for about 7 or 8 hours, and about 8 hours, and you can tell it's already greasy. And I just wouldn't even be able to do 30 minutes with drugstore foundation or drugstore concealer because I would look not cute. Yeah, there are some things from the drugstore that I will say are good. So I would say, like, when it comes to lip products, lipsticks, lip glosses, lip balms, lip pencil, not lip pencils, but you know, lipsticks, lip glosses, lip stains, like I really, really do actually like drugstore products when it comes to that. And so I have lipsticks from Chanel, I have Kylie Cosmetics, I have, you know, Sephora, and then I have NYX, and they're all like essentially the same. You don't really need to spend more than $7 on it, and you'll get a nice, really looking lip color, and eyeliner, mascara, stuff like that I will still get from the drugstore. But when it comes to actual foundation and concealer, I just have to move on up to the east side. And not saying you have to spend like $50 on your foundation or anything. There are definitely products in between, and I think more companies are expanding their shade range line, and so, you know, that really is helpful. But for the most part, I haven't seen anything from the drugstore that's made me want to spend my money on it. Number 4, and this is something I'm so proud that I don't indulge in anymore, it is junk food. So I haven't really been eating junk food for maybe the greater part of 2 years now. I won't lie, I do still indulge in Chick-fil-A and Starbucks every now and then, sorry. But when it comes to McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, even Subway, like I stay away from all that stuff. Mostly because your body is a temple, and therefore you should be very cautious of what you put inside your temple. And McDonald's, I'm sorry, you don't belong in this temple. I just feel like that's self-explanatory, honestly. It does help you lose weight when you stay away from junk food, and I have been on this clean eating journey. But more so than that, whenever you put stuff like that into your body tells you. It says, girl, what are you doing? Get this thing out of me. And so whenever like I'm really desperate and I just need to eat something and the only option I have is junk food and I try it, I feel gross afterwards. I feel sluggish. I feel sick. Like I break out. Like it just, my body reacts in so many different ways. An example, earlier this year I was quite ill. I had a really bad flu. And I wasn't really eating that much because I didn't have an appetite, and I decided that I was gonna, you know, get a McDonald's milkshake because, you know, that's what made me feel good. And you know, growing up I love milkshakes. Till this day I still love milkshakes. I don't eat dairy anymore, but I do love a good milkshake. And I said, you know what, let me just try McDonald's milkshake. I can spare the calories. I haven't eaten anything. And I did enjoy the milkshake for about 4 seconds, and I'm gonna just say that was an interesting experience of that milkshake, and the person I was with, we got a lot closer than I ever thought we would get. And so since that day I was like, you know what, I don't need to ever go around a McDonald's milkshake or any other kind of milkshake for that matter. And so now if I want a milkshake, I'm gonna make it myself at home. So yeah, I don't really do junk food anymore just because like my body don't even want that. Number 5 is nail polish. So it's weird because during this quarantine season I've been seeing a lot of people getting, you know, the gel machines and their nail polish, and they're all doing their nail care at home, and more power to y'all, but that is not me. I have really learned that part of what makes me get my nails done is that self-care aspect. I really do enjoy going to the nail salon because I feel like I'm doing something nice for myself, you know, after a long month of working and just, you know, doing a whole lot. Like, it feels good to take yourself out, treat yourself to your nails, your toes, your eyebrows. And I'm a little bougie. My place does serve mimosas when they're doing your nails, and so that adds to it as well. And you know, I think it's really cool that the nail artist gets to be creative. Normally I'm a neutral kind of girl, but lately I've been getting into like the razzle dazzles and glitters and chromes and stuff. I haven't quite upgraded to the nail, what do you call those things? The 3D nails. Like, I haven't gone there yet. I'm still very much a 2D girl, but it's really fun to just say, how often do you treat yourself? Okay, if you're me, you treat yourself a lot, but most of the time you don't treat yourself that much. And so that, you know, hour and a half that I spend in the nail salon is really like me time, and I really do enjoy that. It's part of my brand. You know, you got to keep your brand together. You got to have your nails done. You know, you look good, you feel good. And I don't have my nails done right now, but that's because no one's looking at me. I'm not going anywhere, and I just don't have the time or the energy or the care to do them myself. And I have no nail polish, and I don't feel like buying nail polish. I won't be buying nail polish. I don't miss nail polish. That's that on that. Number 6. In the same vein is eyeshadow palettes. I was that girl when I was like 18. I would have the 101 eyeshadow palette from e.l.f. Cosmetics, BH Cosmetics. I thought I was like the most, you know, thrifty person ever because these things cost all of $5 and you had all the shades in the world. And I would use maybe 6 out of 100 shades in that, but I just felt like I hit the lottery because, you know, I spent so little on it. And then on the other spectrum would be the eyeshadow palettes that cost $50 a pop, like $50, $60. I remember in college, the Naked palette, girl, if you did not have the Naked palette, what were you doing with your life? Like the Naked 1, the Naked 2, the Naked 3, like, and I was just like, there are maybe 2.5 shades in this palette that will actually show up on my skin. And so I'm a pass. And so I'm so happy that I didn't fall victim to that trend. You know, I didn't do the whole Naked palette, you know, like there's so many of them. And I was like, it's really just 3 different shades of brown in here. Like, what are you people doing with your money? And so I didn't do that. Now I have definitely decluttered my makeup, and I say I probably have 3 or 4 makeup palettes that I use, and they're not really big. There's maybe the one that has the most probably has like 12 shades in it. I have 2 from Juvia's Place. I have an Amazonian palette. No. I have 2 from Juvia's Place. I have 1 Tarte palette, which is really good for, you know, beginners or just essentialists, because it has all the matte colors and all the blendable colors. And then I have my Huda Beauty palette, which is like my fun vacation colorful palette. But most of the time I'm really using my 2 Juvia's Place palettes because they're a good mix of neutral and colorful. And I have this rule that if an eyeshadow palette if I'm not going to use more than 80% of the colors in an eyeshadow palette, then I'm not buying that palette. And also, if an eyeshadow palette has about 60% of colors that I already have, I'm also not buying that palette. And so it's really been helpful for me to kind of like stay away from those aisles when I go to Sephora or go makeup shopping, which I don't really do that much anymore. I kind of only wear makeup. I only buy makeup as I run out. I don't really buy makeup for fun. Oh, I have the Carly Bible palette, and that's because I used to be a really big fan of Carly Bible. I still am. But if you don't know, the Carly Bible palette, the original one, had the best highlighters in the world. And so, yeah, so I have 5 eyeshadow palettes. But I swear I don't have any more, and I don't plan on buying any more because, like I said, I only got 2 eyelids right here. And they're not that big. Number 7 is wallets. And so I haven't had a wallet, I haven't used a wallet on a daily basis in like 4 years. I have a Saint Laurent card holder, and that's pretty much all I use. And not just because it's Saint Laurent, even though that does help. It's just efficient. Like, I don't carry cash a lot. I think that cash is a liability. I only really carry cash when I travel abroad so I can keep track of my spending. But most of the time I'm either using my credit card or I'm using my phone. I paid $1,001 for this phone, and it is 1 billion gigabytes. And so it has every app in this world, and that's what I use to pay for things. And so if I'm not using Apple Pay or the store's native app, I'm using my credit card. And if you don't accept any of those things, if you only carry cash, then I'm just not buying from you. I'm sorry. I just feel like having only a card holder, and I'll probably put a picture in here somewhere, but having just a card holder has really helped me downsize the amount of things that I'm taking out with me all the time, and it really minimizes the need to carry a big bag. I am a bag lover. I love handbags. It is my Achilles heel. It is my passion in life is handbags, and so I will use any excuse to carry a handbag, but nowadays my handbags tend to be on the smaller side. I don't carry like huge big old backpack like I used to. Not backpack, a huge like big. Number 8. Number 8, this is kind of a controversial one because I know a lot of people are really big on it, even here on YouTube. I think there are 2 kinds of people in this world: people who thrift and people who don't. And for the longest time I found myself teetering in between those 2. So on one end are people who like go to the thrift store every Tuesday and they just love thrifting, and like that's the thing they do. There's so many gems, it's so cheap, fast fashion is the devil, like reuse, love, recycle, like those people. And then on the other end you have people that are like, ew, I would never wear someone else's clothes, like why would I go to the thrift store? People like my mom. I'm kind of in the middle where I understand the value and the fun in thrifting, but I've come to a point in my life where I realized that it's just not the thing for me. Oftentimes I was just buying stuff because it was cheap and not necessarily because practically I would be able to wear it. Now don't get me wrong, I have a couple of gems. I have more than a couple of gems from the thrift store that I have had in my closet over an expansive time, and they're one of a kind, and you know, they're really cool. But for the most part, I feel like the things that you really get and you really enjoy from the thrift store are statement items. And I am vain, and so if I wear something and I'm photographed in something, I don't really want to wear it again. Or at least like not in the same way. I need to think of a different way to wear it. And I'll be honest with you, I can go in my closet right now and there will be like 4 or 5 blazers that I got from the thrift store that I just really don't wear as much as I should. And that's just because I mostly got them because they were $2. Like, it was the coolest thing in the world to me. It was like, this is so cheap. Like, why would I ever, you know, spend more money than this? But as I go older, I realize the value in finding clothes that really fit your body and fit your style. I'm still trying to figure out what my personal style is, because I really do feel like I will wear anything and anything, but fit is really important to me. And oftentimes, you know, thrift store clothes don't really fit you that well. You know, you kind of have to work with it a little bit, oversize it or something like that. And also they're just like not a practical day-to-day kind of piece that I would wear. And if I was looking for basic things, I don't know, I just don't think that the thrift store would be my first place. There are so many stores. I know fast fashion is bad and all that, but there's so many stores where I can get like quality, you know, basic items that won't break an arm and a leg. And so I'd much rather do that. There are things I will still get from the thrift store, and those are like, you know, vintage albums or, you know, cameras or household items, like just like little knickknacks. I try not to go overboard with that, but I feel like those are really cool and one of a kind. But when it comes to clothing, I just think that we're spoiled for choice, and you know, I just don't need to go to the thrift store anymore. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean I want it. Number 9. Another controversial kind of one, but I think that most of us can relate, especially if you have natural hair and you're a woman of color. You know that when you went into your transitioning, big chop, natural hair journey, you bought every beauty product that there was for your hair. I'm telling you, I used to have like 3 or 4 drawers full of just like hair stuff because I was trying to figure out what works for me. And I think it is important in that stage when you're still figuring out what works for your hair to try products. But these products aren't cheap. There is no reason for me at this stage in my hair journey to have Cantu, Shea Moisture, Carol's Daughter, Blueberry Bliss, and like all that and the third. Like, I have kind of narrowed down what works for me, and I will only repurchase stuff if I run out. And again, it's not really something I really experiment with. I will say that if my hair is acting funny and none of the products that I have are working, then maybe I'll do a little bit more research and look for something that works. But I'm not just gonna buy it because it's like the new thing on the street. I tried that a couple months ago with Tracy Ellis Ross's pattern hair care line because, you know, I love Tracy Ellis Ross. And yeah, I did, you know, go out and buy it because it was what was hot on the street. And I have thoughts, but that's a different video. That's a different video. Most of the time I do what works for me. And I'm also not like that natural hair person that's making like home remedies here and there every day, because again, like I said, if it not broke, don't fix it. And so just because you're not buying a $20 bottle of leave-in conditioner doesn't mean I need to go to Amazon and buy, you know, $20 worth of like mayonnaise and all this stuff just so I can mix it together and do this miracle product in my hair. Realistically, I wash my hair twice a month, if that. Don't say it's gross, I'm black, that's what we do. Realistically, like that's my hair care days are like twice a month. So like there's just no need to really buy a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, I don't subscribe to that anymore. And the last thing I will say that I don't buy anymore, and you can call me selfish all you want, I don't buy souvenirs. I'm that friend that if I'm traveling, unless you specifically tell me you want something, I'm not buying it. Sue me. But I'm not about to fill up my suitcase with, you know, little knickknacks and bracelets and necklaces and shot glasses and sunglasses and hats and t-shirts, and like, I'm not doing all that. If you say, hey, you're going here, get me something, then I'll get you something. Or you're specifically like, oh, I want XYZ because you're going to ABC, then of course I'm gonna get it for you. I'm that kind of way too, where like if my friend is going somewhere and I really want something from there, most of the time it's a food item. I'm like, oh, bring me back some blah blah blah. But I find that, you know, there are some products, and it's really thoughtful when someone goes somewhere and they bring you back something from that place. It is really thoughtful. But if you're trying to be a minimalist, which, like I said, I'm very far from that, you know, still working my way towards there, it just ends up being like knickknacks and stuff. And so I do appreciate the thought, but I'm not going to return the favor unless you ask me to. I am such an experienced kind of girl. Like, when I go on vacation, rather than buying a t-shirt that says Cancun or a bag that says Cancun, like, I will spend that money on an experience. I will spend that money on food. I will spend the money on drinking. I will spend the money on partying. Like, I will spend that money on almost anything else but tacky souvenirs. One thing that I do is I try and buy a purse, again, because I'm a handbag addict. I try and buy a purse from places that I go. And it's not even something I consciously did, but I just realized, yo, you do this quite a bit. You go somewhere, you find a handbag, and you buy it. I did try to start buying magnets everywhere that I travel, but that didn't last very long. Because again, it was just like, why am I paying $5 for this magnet when this is a shot? So I just don't do that anymore. But I'm not completely ice cold. If you do ask me for something, I will get it for you. And if you do bring me something, I will definitely appreciate it. And I have like a little corner in my room where I put souvenirs of the world that I haven't bought for me. But just know, if you don't ask, you will not receive. So that's it, guys. Those are the 10 things that I no longer purchase anymore. I really enjoyed doing this video, even though it was a pain in the behind to shoot. I'm gonna do it old school. I'm gonna tag my friends Miss Doyen J and Sandra Zoe to do this video as well. They are my friends in real life, and let me know what you guys want to see. I really like this so much. I'm thinking about doing 10 places I don't shop at anymore, so I can spill that tea. If you want to see that, definitely give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe. There's so much more content coming because we're all quarantined and we're all bored in the house. I'm in the house bored. So just know I'm gonna be back here. I don't know when, but I'll be back here. Thank you so much for your support all over the years, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.